On March 18, 1984, a quiet evening in Osaka, Japan, was shattered. Katsuhisa Ezaki, the esteemed head of the confectionery giant Ezaki Glico, was enjoying a relaxing bath in the comfort of his home. Suddenly, two hooded, armed assailants burst into a sanctuary. They seized the naked Ezaki, dragging him from his bathtub and vanishing into the night. This audacious act marked the beginning of one of Japan's most perplexing and bizarre crime sprees, a saga that would captivate a nation and baffle its highly efficient police force for years to come. This was no ordinary kidnapping. It was a prelude to a series of events orchestrated by a shadowy group, a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. The very next day, a chilling ransom note arrived at Ezaki Glico headquarters. The demand was staggering: 1 billion yen and 100 kilograms of gold, an amount equivalent to approximately $10 million in today's currency. The drop-off location was a nondescript phone booth, a seemingly simple instruction for such a colossal sum. However, just 2 days after his abduction, before any ransom could be paid, Ezaki managed a daring escape. Accounts describe him still bound, working his ropes loose in an isolated warehouse. He then kicked down a door and found two railroad employees who helped him contact the police. Crucially, Ezaki had no idea who his captors were. This initial setback, however, did not deter the criminals. They soon escalated their demands, this time asking for $480,000 and threatening to poison Glico candies with cyanide if their demands weren't met. To underscore their seriousness, they reportedly snuck into Glico headquarters and set some of the company's property ablaze, sending a clear message that their threats were not idle. Japan in the 1980s boasted an exceptionally effective police force. In 1983, they solved an astonishing 97.1% of murder cases and 55.3% of thefts, figures that dwarfed those of the United States. Yet this particular case left them utterly bewildered. The press, usually supportive, turned critical. The Yomiuri newspaper ran a scathing editorial declaring, "Fools! We do not recall a case in which criminals have made such fools of the police." The criminals, far from being intimidated, seemed to relish the attention. On April 8th, the first of over 100 taunting letters arrived at news agencies. Addressed to the stupid police, it mocked their incompetence. "Are you idiots? What are you doing with so many people? If you were pros, you would catch us. Because you guys have such a high handicap, we're going to give you some hints." The letters even attempted to guide the police, debunking theories like an inside job or the warehouse owners being involved. They offered seemingly random clues: a gray car, the name of a grocery store where they bought food. But none of these leads ever materialized into a solid breakthrough. The criminals continued their crime as theater campaign, as critics dubbed it. Their letters offered more cryptic details, such as the type of gate used to enter a factory or the model of typewriter they used. Yet every clue proved to be a dead end. One linguistic analysis of the letters suggested the perpetrators were from Osaka, the same city where Ezaki was kidnapped. The group eventually adopted the moniker "The Monster with 21 Faces," a direct reference to a popular 1936 children's story by Adyagawa Rampo, about a master thief known for his disguises and ability to stir up the newspapers every day. A particularly chilling excerpt from the story seemed to perfectly encapsulate the gang's modus operandi. Up until now, no matter how many police have been called up, they haven't been able to stop this dreadful gang. There is one particularly strange feature of this gang. When they have set their sights on one particular object or artifact, without fail, they will send a letter of warning announcing their intentions, the date, place, and object of the planned crime. Even though they're criminals, perhaps they don't want to engage in an unfair battle, or perhaps they want to show that no matter how many precautions are taken, they can still commit the crime with their great skill. In September 1984, the Monster with 21 Faces expanded their targets, sending extortion letters to another major confectioner, Morinaga and Company. Morinaga, unlike Glico, refused to pay. On October 8th, a new letter arrived, this time addressed to moms throughout Japan. It chillingly announced, "In autumn, when appetites are strong, sweets are really delicious. When you think sweets, no matter what you say, it's Morinaga. We've added some special flavor. The flavor of potassium cyanide is a little bitter. It won't cause tooth decay, so buy the sweets for your kids. We've attached a notice on these bitter sweets that they contain poison. We've put 20 boxes in stores from Hakata to Tokyo." True to their word, packages of Morinaga cookies and candy were found in grocery stores across Japan, bearing typewritten "Danger Cyanide" labels. 18 packages were discovered and tested. One contained enough cyanide to kill a person. Miraculously, no one consumed the tainted candy. The monster then threatened to release 30 unlabeled boxes. For 2 weekends, 40,000 officers staked out grocery stores nationwide, but the criminals never appeared. Surveillance video from October 7th showed a suspect dubbed Bideo no Otoko, Video Man, placing something on a shelf where poison candy was later found. However, the grainy footage and poor lighting rendered him unidentifiable. Disturbingly, phone calls made by the monster to demand money featured the voices of a woman and a child, with the child even giving instructions to leave money behind the seat of the bus stop bench. This revelation shattered public perception, forcing them to reconsider who the monster with 21 faces really was. By March 1985, a year after Ezaki's kidnapping, 31 food and candy companies had been harassed. Japan's police, despite receiving over 28,000 tips and deploying over 130,000 officers, remained utterly bewildered. Both Ezaki Glico and Morinaga suffered massive losses in sales, with Morinaga facing a staggering 60% drop. The monster with 21 faces eventually sent their last letter announcing their cessation of activities. The identities of the perpetrators remain officially unsolved. However, several theories have emerged. One posits that the entire affair was an inside job, with Katsuhisa Ezaki himself orchestrating his own kidnapping. This theory is largely discredited by the fact that Morinaga's candy was actually poisoned, while Glico's was only threatened, suggesting distinct motives. Another theory suggests the monster with 21 faces was seeking revenge on Japan's food companies for the infamous 1955-56 Morinaga dry milk incident, where arsenic-laced milk injured 12,000 infants and killed 138. The survivors would have been around 30 years old at the time of the crimes, potentially seeking retribution. A third and perhaps most compelling theory points to Manabu Miyazaki, the son of a Yakuza boss. Miyazaki was a known criminal with a history of anti-police actions. A police sketch of the fox-eyed man seen during a money drop was so accurate that even Miyazaki's own mother believed it was him. Police found a stolen car used by the fox-eyed man with a police scanner inside. Miyazaki later wrote a memoir titled Toppa Mono, released shortly after the statute of limitations for the 21 Faces case expired. The book's cover featured the very sketch police had released. Though he confessed to other crimes in the book, he never admitted involvement in the 21 Faces spree. He did, however, profit handsomely from the book, earning over 100 million yen. The monster with 21 faces ultimately got away with it. No one has ever come forward to admit to the crime. The identities of this elusive group remain shrouded in mystery. Was it a disgruntled former employee, a vengeful survivor, or a cunning criminal mastermind who simply outsmarted the authorities at every turn? Perhaps one day, the real face behind these crimes will decide to reveal itself. Until then, the case of the monster with 21 faces remains unsolved. What unsolved mystery do you want to see next?